So there's a distinction that needs to be made here, right? So, and there are people who are saying she's not an MD. And they're saying she's not an MD because she's not licensed. And there are some people who've even said she hasn't graduated. And she did graduate, sat for her licensure, passed her licensure, holds currently an inactive license in the state of Oregon that she could make active again, which means that she could be a practicing physician if she wanted to be. The place where I have trouble is that we're using lies as propaganda. Now, if you want to say Casey Means shouldn't be the Surgeon General because she hasn't spent enough time working in public health, that's probably true. Probably. I don't know because I didn't know much about her until probably, really honestly, 2 years ago. Someone bought me her book and gifted it to me. I read the book. There's some good information in there. There's some stuff I don't agree with, but that's opinion. It's not fact. The fact is, she is a physician. She's just not practicing. She is an MD. She's just not practicing. She holds a license. It's just inactive. Just holding the title of MD is one of the complicated steps that you have to go through to become the Surgeon General. One of the other requirements is that you do work in what they call the core. The core is, quote, on call 24 hours a day, and can be called in the case of a public health emergency by the Surgeon General. In order to be the Surgeon General, you have to have been a member of the Corps. Interestingly enough, within the Corps, you have people who have just a degree in public health. They don't have MD or any medical training other than their public health degree. And the base of a public health degree, like the basic, is a bachelor's degree. Now, she stated in her Senate confirmation hearing that, by the way, she has not been confirmed. It's the 28th or whatever. And today's February 28th. She has not been confirmed. She stated in her Senate confirmation hearing that she has been doing work in the Corps. She did not state what that work was, so we don't know the type of work that she's been doing, but is just her work in the Corps since the time that she thought she would get nominated as a Surgeon General enough to say that she's qualified on public health matters? Probably not. And you could say that that's why she's not qualified. But Section 205 doesn't specifically state how long they have to be doing work in the Corps. It just says that they have to have done work in the Corps. There are some people who would argue that her time as a health influencer and coaching people around their health on lifestyle habits would mean that she's qualified on public health issues because she's dealing with things in her clients like obesity, like chronic disease, like diabetes, and she's helping them find ways to solve it that don't involve medication. I'm still not sure that that makes her qualified. But rather than spreading the lie that she doesn't hold a license, she's not an MD, and she's not a physician, I can argue the merit of all the points. Now, the other thing she said in her confirmation hearing is that not on her podcast and not in her book has she ever talked about vaccines. And that's actually a lie because there's a clip of her talking about vaccines specifically on her podcast. And she doesn't say she's anti-vaccine, but what she says is the basics of it. There are too many vaccines given before 18 months because there's too many chemicals within the vaccines. And the fact that some of the vaccines are given before we've even tested food allergies, and some of those vaccines come with food allergy warnings. And I think the biggest thing that I see, again, you can like her, you can not like her, you can like her politics, you can not like her politics, you can like her stance on vaccines, you can not like it, you can like her stance on birth control, you can not like it. I don't care. What I see is that people are spreading the lie that she's not licensed. She put her license as inactive. I also don't know what continuing education she's done, so I don't know if it would be enough to reinstate her license without doing a lot of work. I have no idea. I haven't asked her that question. They didn't ask her that question within the Senate confirmation hearing. Now, If I had been her and I didn't want to go through all the arguing about whether or not I was qualified because of licensure, I would have just reinstated my license. Regardless of whether or not she was going to see patients as the Surgeon General, it would have been the easiest step, knowing that it was going to be the biggest hurdle, because 2 years ago, when people were talking about her becoming the Surgeon General, this was one of the arguments as well, and she had 2 years to fix that problem and chose not to. That to me is, yes, it's her taking a stance, and I understand that, and setting a boundary of like, you don't get to control me, but at the same time, it was a stupid thing to do. It was something that could have been fixed so easily, and we wouldn't even be having this argument. We'd be arguing about the merits of what she believes and whether or not it's good for general public health. We wouldn't be arguing about whether or not she has a license. She holds a license. But I'm not sure that holding a license and the minimal work that she's done within the Corps for the last 2 years is enough to make her qualified. And the crazy thing is, speaking the truth, I've gotten attacked more on a different page than here than I have ever been attacked for anything I've ever said on any platform. And all I wrote was, she holds a medical license. And people have come for me like you wouldn't believe. All women, by the way, not a single man, all women. So I beg the question, if you're so secure in the job that you're doing as a medical professional, why are you threatened by me saying simply, she holds a medical license? I didn't say she was qualified. The statement was just, she holds a medical license. That's it. Because she does. Now, I didn't say it made her qualified. And again, I'm not sure that she's actually qualified. But the lie that she doesn't hold a license or that she doesn't meet the base qualifications is just that, it's propaganda and it's a lie. And if we want to get down to the truth and we want to start asking for the truth, we need to start speaking it too. We don't have to agree with the politics. We don't have to agree with their positions, but we have to tell the truth.